Hi everyone, my name is Mark Wormsley and I am the founder of the Arts and Culture Network. We're rapidly approaching 21,000 members on LinkedIn, which is very, very exciting. If you search Arts and Culture Network, you'll find us both on LinkedIn and via Google. And we have an increasing number of full members, one of which is Michael Harrison, and Michael joins me today. Michael's been involved in a project that he told me about a while ago, which I found fascinating and which has spawned lots of other activity. It's effectively around the artwork called the Flagellation of Christ by Piero della Francesca, and which has been a mystery for many, many years. But Michael has interpreted it, and there is an exhibition around the interpretation, and I believe also some music that has been performed based on the interpretation. So I don't want to steal your thunder, Michael, but thank you very much for joining us. And would you like to tell us the story of the Flagellation of Christ? Wherever this video appears, we'll include an image so that people can see. But thank you for joining us, Michael. What's the story?
My interest was first kindled way back in 1992 when the BBC did one of those marvelous documentaries, as they did in those days, of a Pacific art project, and it was to commemorate the 400th anniversary of the death of Piero della Francesca. And I was absolutely fascinated by this program because it seemed that there was one painting in his one work of his which had actually posed a problem, and the meaning had never ever been, true meaning of the painting had never ever been interpreted. And so a journey started for me for over 30 years, and gradually over the period of time, through a whole series of hints and glimpses and extraordinary pieces of bits of synchronicity, I pieced together what was I believe to be the true interpretation of the painting. And it wasn't based on the ideas of art historians. Art historians had been putting up the ladder, I believe, leaning the ladder on the wrong wall. I looked at it from a point of view of what the painting was originally conceived for, which was an act of devotion. It was specially commissioned for a person who had suffered great loss. And so the whole essence of the painting was to convey consolation. But to actually get into that painting, you had to crack a code. And rather like the Da Vinci Code, I cracked the code, and over a period of time, and created an entirely different timeline overlay of the painting. And that painting that can now be unlocked for any person who sees the painting and receives the kind of comfort that it portrays. So to cut a very long story short, some of the extraordinary bits of synchronicity was that, first of all, I'd recorded the program, and now 30 odd years later, I created the DVD copy of it. In fact, it seems that the BBC have not got a copy in their archive. Secondly, for the BBC program, they created an exact perspectively correct model of the painting. And now, through a whole process of coincidences, I actually own the original model of the painting that was done for the BBC program. About 3 years ago, a chum of mine who had bought one of my paintings, and I got in conversation with him. He was a librettist, and he took my narrative and ideas about the meaning and actually constructed a libretto. One of his colleagues was a composer, and during COVID lockdown, they actually have now produced a 45-minute cantata of my interpretation of the painting. And the idea will be for it to be recorded and made available. Very, very lucky that the composer is one of the top composers in the UK, and very well known, and his work very much followed. I was very, very lucky in 3 years ago to put my ideas to the hierarchy at the National Gallery of my interpretation, and I have got I've got approbation, if you like, confirmation that my ideas have validity, and because nobody has ever come up with the exact with an exact meaning of it, interpretation from the art world, and there are now 42 separate interpretations. When I first started, there were 25. So I've been very lucky in that I've been my ideas have been well received, and the plan really now is to have an exhibition of the showing the a full representation of the angles of the perspectival angles of painting, and the idea is that it will travel around cathedrals around the UK and then hopefully in Europe.
That's your magnum opus there.
Bit garbled.
No, that's fine, Michael. Well, congratulations on that incredible achievement, and I gather you're considering trying to raise some funds through a crowdfunding campaign for that to make that available. But so we'll put the links to any of that where this video appears. But meanwhile, thank you so much for that. It's a real eye-opener, and I've seen the images that you shared of the exhibition and the wonderful 3D model that provides that perspective, and it's great. So thank you so much for introducing us to that, Michael, and we'll make sure that any other links that you have associated with it appear where this video appears. But thanks very much for joining me, Michael.
Well, thank you for giving me the opportunity of talking about it.